Well, hello, I hope you're having a good day. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to make these little leather connectors on the end of these rein chains. And I'll explain why those are kind of an important deal. So if that sounds something you're interested in, then I hope you watch along. My headstall here that I use on my good horse Bud. And then these are the rein chains on the end of these rawhide reins with these little leather bit connectors, and all they do is go through this ring on your bit, and then they've got a little leather button on the end of them. I'll show you how to make, and I'll put these on this bit. Usually what I do is I put my headstall on, or a lot of times I'll put the headstall on, then I'll attach the reins after they're already on them, but if they're already on them on the headstall, that's no big deal. But get these put on, and then the reason I use these, or I like them, is now let's say you're riding along. This is obviously on your horse's head. You're holding this end. Now if your reins here get snagged on a limb or something, or let's say maybe you're sorting cows in an alley and one turns around and she sticks her head between your reins here, and that's going to be a wreck. So if you just had this metal part of your rein chains attached here, that's going to tear some stuff up. That's going to hurt your horse. It's going to tear your bit up, going to tear your headstall up, and the most important thing is it's going to hurt your horse's mouth really bad. But if you have these leather connectors on here, these are going to snap eventually and tear less stuff up. So that's why I think they're important to have, and I'm going to show you how to make them. It's pretty easy. All right. So to make these, you want to use something kind of thin, like shap leather or buckskin or elk skin. But the problem with buckskin or elk skin, here's one out of elk hide, is doing this knot here can be tricky with elk hide because of the way it wants to roll over, and it's just kind of a pain in the ass to tie knots in. But cut you a strip about a foot long, and I've made these 2 strands probably longer than I need to, but I'm just doing it for this video. There is a totally different knot that you can use to make these, but I wanted to make this video to show people how to do this 2-strand Turk's head knot. I learned it from a Jack Armstrong braiding video several years ago. But so you get yourself your 2 strands cut. You just go down. This I think is probably about halfway. Cut 2 strips, and then you want to have you want these to be points. So I'll cut some points in the end of these real quick to make this finishing this up easier. So then what you're going to do is you'll have the hair side facing you. This is the hair side. This is the flesh side. Have the hair side facing us. We're going to take this strand on the right hand side, loop it away from us, and you're going to have it come like this, and you're going to hold it there with your fingers so everything stays in place. Then this is kind of the tricky part to remember to do this, right? You're going to take this one here and you're going to twist it in this way and have it lay down there. So these guys are right next to each other like this. So then you're going to take the strand on the right hand side, you're going to go around the back side of this loop, and you're going to come through this loop from the inside of it, I guess is what you could call that. So we're going to go around that way. I've got a barn cat in here bugging me. So I've gone around the back, going through there. And you're going to take your one on the left-hand side, and it's going to go up through here and go through the inside of this loop. And you're going to kind of work everything down tight. This is where using buckskin or elk hide can get real tricky, and you want to have a fid or a marlin spike or whatever you want to call it. This is just some little tool that was laying around here. I don't have my fid down here at the tack room, but get to pulling everything tight and keep it and organized the best you can. So then you should end up with something that looks like that. So now we'll start here on this side, and you're going to take this strand, and with other Turk's head videos maybe you've seen me do, this makes an X right here. So you're going to go up through this X with this strand, or you could think of it as you're going to go over this strand and under that strand is another way that braiding people talk about this stuff. So this is where your marlin spike or fid comes in handy again, or some needle nose pliers. So try to, and that's why I cut that point in that end. I need a bigger spike. I'm going to go up through there. If you hear a kind of a ticking noise, we had some snow day before yesterday, and it's all melting off, so it's dripping on the side of the tack room here. I don't know if you can hear that, but it might bug some people. But I probably should have cut these points to a little bit more finer point. We'll try to work him up through there. There he is. There we go. And now we're going to go to this other side here. Kind of roll this over and keep everything nice. And here's our X, or over this one and under this one. So make a spot for him to go. And that one went up a lot nicer. Now you can kind of see what this is going to look like. But to finish it off, we're going to go back. You can see that this is where this one starts. And it's this strand up here, so I'm going to stick my fid through here. Or you can use your needle nose pliers and kind of grab a hold of it and pull it up tight. So now I've got this slack here that I need to pull out, so you just follow the strand around and we'll pull that slack out that way. And he comes, whoops, sorry I dropped that, that might have messed you up. So this is the slack we just pulled out right here. And we follow it around and it comes up through there. Grab it here, pull that slack out. And it goes down through here. Grab that, pull the slack out. And then it's this one right here. So we'll pull them tight there. And now we're back at the beginning. So this is the other side. And this is the strand right here. So we're going to pull it tight there. And then we'll pull the slack out of it from right here. And then he comes around and right here. And you don't have to make these this wide. I kind of made it kind of wide so that maybe it would be easier to see how you finish this or make this knot. So now it comes down through here. And if you're worried about your pliers leaving these marks in here, then use your fid. But this ends up being such a small little deal, you don't hardly even notice it. And then we'll suck him up tight right there. And so then that ends up being your button. And you can nip these off. I kind of like to leave a little bit of length on there so I can grab them to help me pull it through the buttonhole, but we'll work on that part next. What we're going to do is we're going to take our piece and we're going to fold it in half. And I'm going to cut a hole right here, and then I'm going to cut a hole in this end. So we got our spot here. We're going to cut that hole. That's probably long enough. And then here at this end. And I like to leave a little bit here so you can get a hold of it with your fingers. So, I'll probably go half an inch down from the end or whatever you want to call that. Sorry, that's not focusing real great. So now I'll show you how you put it all together onto your headstall and your reins. So I've cut these ends to where I like them and where I can get a hold of them easy. So here's my rein chains into my rawhide reins. So these are going to stay, this is going to stay on here. So what I do is I'm going to put, I guess you'd call it flesh, or a hair side up, hair side against this ring, I guess. And we're going to go to that middle slot we cut, and we're going to push our button through there. And that's where those little ends I left come in handy. All right, so then here's our bit. And I like to come in from the back side of the bit with this buttonhole. I'm going to go through there, put our little ends through, and pull our button through our buttonhole here. And so then that's what you end up with. And this is cut pretty thick. You wouldn't have to make it this thick. But that's, hopefully this is going to break before, you know, too much stuff gets tore up if you ever get in a wreck. Another nice thing is when you're done and you're hanging your stuff up in your tack room, you can take your reins off and hang them up separate from your headstall so that they aren't sitting and get some sort of weird bend in them or something. So if you want to give that a try or found that knot handy, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.